no messing about. Let's talk about your past experience. So now this reasoning for this is for people who don't know who you are, is to get to know you as a fighter. You're a fairly new fighter on the team. You've only had a couple of 2 fights. Your first fight was against Tom Gallagher, if I'm right.
Yeah.
Me and you spoke about this in the past. We call it an audition because that's really what it was, an audition to the fight with Keenan Knight. Now, personally, it was one of my favourite fights on the last show. For me, it was 2 young talents really went at it and put everything they had into it. What were your thoughts on the Keenan Knight fight?
I thought he was a really tough kid. Like, fucking, you know when someone can punch, he can bang. Like, the kid can fucking bang. But yeah, I gave him some good shots. Took him on chin. Couldn't put him down. Come back in second round. Caught me in body. Took it. Dropped my gloves. Caught me a nice one to temple, and that was it, mate.
Yeah.
But like they've always said, never a loss. They're just a learning curve. Sharpened tools, come back better.
Exactly, mate. We don't call it losing at Fight Club. I refuse to, because I don't ever believe you lose anything. I only think you learn. I've always believed that. And especially for you, yours is a perfect case of that, because your first 2 fights are against 2 seriously tough individuals. Your first one was against someone who's had a lot of fights and he's held belts on other promotions. That was your first ever fight. And then Keenan Knight, who personally I believe is going to go on to do big things.
Yeah.
He's young enough, and I think he'll go on to do very big things. So you don't make it very easy for yourself.
Well, that's it. It's like, there's no point in trying to pick easy fights, is there? If you want a bit best, you've got to fight best and work your way up properly. Like, so I see it, you know what I mean? There's no pussyfooting about it.
Then you got to think to yourself, right? If you go in against your first couple against easy opponents, you get easy wins. I believe you can miss your own weaknesses that you need to turn into strengths. I believe you can take your eye off the ball very, very quickly. Whereas with you, you've only ever wanted tough fights. We've negotiated about names in the past, and you only ever want the best names, which leads me on to Tony McIntosh. You are going to be fighting Tony for the hybrid bantamweight title, the first ever, on November 9th in Birmingham on Fight Club Promotions 2. So talk to me about, first of all, how you feel the fight will go and your reasonings for wanting this fight.
Reasoning to wanting the fight is because we've been matched up a few times now on different cards. And obviously, due to reasons for him, I don't know, not turning up or not wanting to do the fight. Obviously, in cards change, so then that just made me think, like, the fight just needs to happen, do you know what I mean? We've been paired up that many times, kind of thing. Another one I want to say straight off, because if he does watch it, we put up his purse last time for a charity, and I'm wanting to do that again, so that's my shout out to him. If he wants to do that, I'm happy to do that. Winner gives their purse to a fucking loser gives their purse to a chosen charity. Well, gives it to winner, do you know what I mean? Puts it into their chosen charity, should I say. Another thing is, I think it is going to be a tough fight. Bear in mind, he has had tough people himself, do you know what I mean? He hasn't fighted, you know, like idiots. He's had Tony Meehan, who's a very tough fighter, do you know what I mean? We'll give him some good whack stitching and he didn't go down.
Yeah.
And then on his last fight, he had to fight kid that held titles. So it's like, same. He's had a good fucking two good scraps, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's going to be a good fight.
100%. Just before I go on to that, can I just ask anyone who is currently ringing me and messaging me, can they stop? Because I am on a live interview. Anyway, yeah, so my belief in the reasoning for me putting this fight on, a lot of what you've just said come into that. So you have both been matched up before. You were matched up by me. Obviously, that went away the way it went. But now you are matched up again. A lot of people believe this is the fight that should be happening.
Yeah.
Especially in that weight division. Both of you, I believe, are going to be at the right weight. I believe this should both be your fight weight. the top end of bantam is where you two should be. And I think I'll see the best of both of you. You both have different reasons for wanting to win this fight. Tony, we all know, he's on the redemption trail right now. He wants to get back to his best. He's currently working with a very, very good team. And I do believe we're going to get the best Tony McIntosh that we've ever seen. Same with you. I've been very close to you since you joined Fight Club, and we talk a lot, and your confidence levels right now are through the roof. And I think that's because you're very clever and you look at your performances through a boxer's eyes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, most definitely, pal.
Do you think you're learning as you go? So, the reason I'm asking that question is, in the next,
I think I'm progressing. From my first show to my second show, my confidence were a lot better, and I think it's just going to get better and better and better. As in, when I come into the ring and I fighted Tom, so I was more on my back foot and I was moving all the time, and I was just using my jab and I was trying to stay away from him as such. This one, I was more confident, got stuck straight in kind of thing. So on the next one, I think my confidence is going to be even higher. Obviously, I'm still progressing it every time. So on the next one, you're going to see a completely different Joel Kirk.
Definitely. Yeah, that's why I asked that question, because I think you're a perfect example of someone who, because let's face it, you are still a novice. You're on your second fight. The reason you're fighting for a title is, right now, there are many reasons. The main reason is this is the perfect fight for both of you. You may have only had two. He may have had more than you. I don't know how many he's had altogether, but I know he's fairly experienced. But the levels you two are at right now, this is a true 50-50. Anyone I've spoke to about this fight, they can't truly call the winner for this. Yeah. They really can't. And the next 12 months for you, what does that look like, ideally?
Ideally, I'm going to get this belt, mate, and then after that, no messing about. I'm just going to go straight for everybody else who's got a bantamweight or a featherweight belt and challenge them for their belts. So might as well go straight for the top.
100%. There's an awful lot of activity going on in the featherweight division. There is going to be some more bantamweights added to the roster very soon. So you'll be keeping yourself busy. There's many names that will be put to you in the next 12 months, win or lose, because the way I'll explain it real quick, I've just put the announcement. There is a new ranking system to Fight Club promotions. Yeah. So from 1 to however many we've got, you'll be ranked. And this is how title fights will happen in the future. You'll have mandatory challenges. You'll have champions. No one can lose points. You can only earn. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of interesting fights being made, because it's not going to be made by my own preference. It's going to be so going back a second. I do want to talk about your journey into boxing. What got you into boxing?
It's more like struggling through past stuff, depression and stuff like that. I have to keep myself proactive. So through working out or going boxing, it helps you relieve things, you know what I mean? Like stuff off your mind or stuff like that, de-stressing, all that type of stuff. So as me as a kid, I had a bit of a rough upbringing. I was an only child. I've always done like being sports and stuff like that. I did athletics for 6 years, really good at athletics. Run for South Yorkshire. Went for the Junior Olympics. Trained with Jessica Ennis as a pacemaker for her for 800 metres. And then I went on to going into army when I was 16. Went for Yorkshire Reg infantry, and then referred myself to paratroopers. And then my mum, God bless her, she got ill with cancer, passed away. So I went in the right frame of mind, like I were a bit like depressed and stuff like that. So I never went back to it. And then I got into plastering. I do plastering now, that's what I work as. But I just thought, get back into something. Started training, probably say about a year ago. Did bits it when I was younger, like in and out whilst I was running. And just thought, fuck it. When I got back in there, I really enjoyed it. And then did one fight, lost that fight, and then I talked to you, didn't I, after I had that fight, and I was like a bit depressed and that, and then you always got words of wisdom, mate. You give me that talk, and then that's it. Day after I'm out there running again. Then now I'm striving for it. Love it, absolutely love it, pal.
Definitely, there's been a massive change in you since from your first fight to now. I personally thought when you did when the fight didn't go your way against Keenan, I was worried about whether your confidence levels would drop. We spoke about this earlier, and from there, your confidence levels just got higher and higher and higher. It shows that you're maturing both in life and in the game of boxing. You mentioned before about the mental health that you have suffered through certain traumas in your life. Would you send that message to anyone else going through the type of thing to get into something like boxing or any type of sport?
Definitely. Most definitely. See what it is with boxing and what I've learned with, say, being in your promotion. Like, you're not just a promotion, you're more a family. Do you know what I mean? Everybody can talk to each other, and you learn that, and everybody's really open, and everybody's got their own demons and their own ways, and everybody's doing it for their own reason. And it's just like that one, like literally everybody is a family, and it's just nice to be around everybody, and it's really easy to talk to people. So I definitely recommend it, getting into something like boxing.
Definitely. I find it with most people that I ever talk to in boxing, because it shows it's more prevalent to me than I think, that mental health, everyone seems to have their own mental health story and their own positive story because they're in boxing right now, and boxing has put them in the right space, whether it's physically, mentally, or any other emotion. Now, do you believe, personally, I see this in you, you're still young. I think once you do hang up your gloves, you are the perfect type of person to go into coaching. Do you believe that, well, can you believe, in fact, that one simple decision to get into boxing could lead to a lifetime, really, of career prospects, hobby prospects, helping people is immense. The amount of people I find I can help in a day without even trying is unreal. I got into boxing, not a lot of people know my story. I won't go into it now, I'll save it for the book. But I got into boxing to change my life. And from the day I got into boxing, my life has been changed. And I've only ever helped people along the way. There's no one I've ever hurt along the way in boxing. And it's such a positive story for me that everyone I talk to seems to have the same type of story.
Yeah. Definitely, it's like you say, it's one of them communities, like, you talk to people, and everybody, like you say, they're all doing it for their own reasons. Say like myself, that's why I've said to Tony, I'm offering him out to put both of his purses towards charity again. I'd love to do it towards men's mental health, because there's that many people nowadays that are not talking and stuff like that, and it's sad to see people, like friends or friends of friends, going and doing stuff that because they can't talk. Do you know what I mean? And it needs to be more done about it. It needs to be more recognised, and it's
100%. Well, that is out there for Tony. I can see Tony is on live right now. He's just said 100%. So Joel has put it out there that their purses are on the line for a mental health charity. So to spice things up a little bit, if there is a knockout in that fight, I will add £50 of my own money to that charity. Yeah. So that will spice it up a little bit. I honestly do think that this is going to be a really good fight, guys. If you have bought tickets already and you bought tickets to watch somebody else, please circle this fight on the card, because it is not one you want to miss. I do just want to go back onto Tony. When I say this, I always start with the reason I'm asking you this is simply I want to know how you're feeling about the fight. So send a message to Tony. It can be respectful. It can be whatever you want. Send a message to Tony. Let him know how you're feeling right now.
Well, I'm telling you now, I'm coming for a knockout, so I'm not taking it lightly. I want to be training as hard as you possibly can, because I'm not taking you lightly, pal. Like I say, I do respect you. You fighted some good people, same as I've come for some people. Same as Billy said, you're coming for redemption. So that's it, mate. I'm going to be training my ass off, so just make sure you put in that work in.
Definitely. Well, we'll be speaking to Tony on Saturday at 6 p.m. So, guys, make sure you tune into that. Joel, it's been an absolute pleasure. I will let you get off, mate. I want to give you this last bit of time to mention your sponsors and supporters. Just a little thank you to people that have helped you along the way and are currently helping you.
Yeah. Sponsors wise, go on my page, Marcus Tattoos. He's one of the sponsors, really good for tattoos. Got Sally Madden, she does hairdressing, so if you're a woman, want to get your hair done, go message her, code Kirk, 20% off. Also like to thank A Shield, who I work for, and all my family and friends for supporting me. And also you, Billy, for making this happen, brother.
Yeah, I always say the same to each fighter. You should, I appreciate that, but you should thank yourself, because you guys are the ones putting yourself in a position. Like I always say, the people that are constantly in my inbox are the ones who get the good fights, because you show that you want it. Joel, it's been a pleasure. I'll let you get off, my man, and I will speak to you soon. Enjoy. Cheers, brother.